So let's go. All right, welcome back to another episode of Blockchain Basement. My name is TJ. We're going to be talking about crypto today. So, in case you couldn't tell by the name, we're going to be talking about blockchain. We're joined by we have a new first-time guest in here today, Mr. Adam Lowe, aka @not_Adam L. For those of you who like that intro music, that house music that plays beforehand, that's our local house DJ here, Adam Lowe, joining us. He does a lot of our social media stuff with us, works on a lot of different brands. We love having him here, part of the team. So he's going to come drop some knowledge. We're going to be talking about predictions today. So, and Adam's a newer one. I like having new people to blockchain and crypto on the show. Oh, by the way, shout out to everybody in this chat. Real Crypto Stevo, hey Stacy, Riddle with Puns, Bubble Bud, TJ, not sure what's going on there. Royals Rowdy, Manawalk, Auto Mod, Corey J. Harden. Manawalk said, what up, TJ? Digital Mining Collective said, screw crypto. I think a lot of people feel that way right now.
Shout out Pew in78. I think he wrote me that poem.
Oh, look at that. Dang.
What's it about?
A poem from Pew. You want to read it?
She was too tall to be a thief, too honest to be an assassin, too intelligent to be a wife, and too proud to enter the only other female profession generally available. So she joined the basement, where whole new theories of money were growing like mushrooms in the dark and based on bullshit.
We love you.
That was beautiful.
Gotta say the last line.
That was beautiful.
You, Allie.
We do love you, Allie. And
I love you too.
If that's actually that's a good description of the basement. I do think there's mushrooms growing in here. I can smell them. So
It's in the lightheadedness. That's how you can tell.
exactly. Well, to be fair, it's the gaming base. It's where all the gaming happens. If you guys don't watch Hit Network Gaming, you see Joel. He's always doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So who knows what's going on down here when we're not here? Oh, that's what it was. Yes, Piccolo Rick. My name was. That you can thank PJ for that. I hosted Around the Blockchain a couple days ago. My name was TJ Bubble Bottom the other day on ATB. So, yeah, that's that. Thanks, PJ.
Okay.
I'll get to do that one. So, all right, but yeah, some of the things we're going to be talking about today. A couple articles. 4 legislative predictions for crypto 2023. We're going to read through that and kind of make some of our own, give our own takes on it. I thought some of them were good, some of them were decent. We've also got a story here. Dapp Radars early on was something we got to talk about. DeFi, NFT, blockchain games. Key takeaway from Dapp Radar's 2022 review. And then just some general news. We've got some Core Scientific going bankrupt, some stuff going on with Grayscale, Hoskinson, and the like. But I wanted to read this off. It's going to be a little bit wordy. It's kind of a long thread. Let me see. I probably won't read you guys the whole thing because it's very long. But I thought it was pretty interesting for perspective. It ties into something Ben and I were looking at the morning stream today, kind of looking at the NASDAQ and the SPY compared to the 2008 crash to today, or kind of the crash we've had since then. And we want to, obviously we think next year, we're big believers in the 4-year cycle. We've looked at the 4-year cycles a lot. We think, generally speaking, we have bottomed for Bitcoin. We might see a little bit of sideways in 2024, 2025. We're going to see another massive bull run like we've experienced in the past. I still believe that 100%. That being said, all kinds of stuff going on in the macro. There are theories out there pushing things down to 10,000, holding it for 10,000, and maybe we don't see another bull run in 2024 and 2025. That seems to be the predictions generally for the stock market. For traditional markets, that we're not going to see a big run up, and I think it'll be fascinating to see if we break away from the 4-year cycle on this. But this thread here from Austin Lieberman, I might skim through this, I might not, we'll see, but I'll retweet it if any of you guys want to go find it later. Just go follow Hit Network on Twitter and you'll find it. So legendary investor Howard Marks just released a new memo, and it said, quotes, "In my 53 years of investing world, I've seen economic cycles, mania, panics, bubbles, and crashes, but I remember only 2 real sea changes. I think we may be in the midst of a third one today." And I would agree. The changing from the traditional markets and the fiat system we've been on really since the 70s into a more digital, one world, global type economy, I do see that as a major sea change, or just a dramatic shift in the way that finance works all around the world. So I do agree with that. That was originally what piqued my interest. Like, oh, I can see that. Probably, I wonder what the other 2 sea changes were. I know one of them is going to be in the 70s. I'll be interested to see in the past 53 years. You could say 1913 maybe when the Fed came in, but obviously that wasn't within 53 years. So We will read on. The price you pay for a stock matters. If you bought Nifty 50 in 1969 and held it to 1974, you were sitting on losses of more than 90% from owning pieces of the best companies in the America. This is something Drew touched on either yesterday or Monday, talking about gold. And if you had invested in gold at a specific time, you're set for life. Your family's wealthy, and you're set forever. But in the last several years, it hasn't really been the case. So, Music Maven said, "Hey, we have a TJ, an AJ, and now a DJ." That's true. We also have a BJ. So there's a lot of initials. Look, I'm partial to initial people. If you can't tell. So, what's you can AL, but yeah, anything initial stuff really goes well with Jay. So sea change number 1 during Howard's career came in the 1970 when legislation. Oh, I bet it's going to be the 2008's the sea change too. When legislation made high yield bonds more accessible to investors, the biggest change with this shift was the new investor mentality. Risk didn't have to be avoided, and there's a lot of details that goes through that, but that's a major mindset shift from the investor standpoint. The OPEC oil embargo of 73-74 sparked massive inflation. Oil jumped from $24 to $64 a barrel in less than a year, or in about a year. CPI went from 3 to 11% between 72 and 74. By 1980, inflation was still at 13.5%. So that gives you guys a little bit perspective. And that's one thing I like to do when trying to analyze markets is look back at history. We're talking about inflation and we're relating it to the inflation we've experienced in our lifetime and the recent changes. But it's interesting to me to look back at least even just 30, 40 years ago. And that's why I highly, highly advocate anybody should check out the Bitcoin Standard. It is one of the best economic history lessons, in my opinion, of world currencies over thousands of years. Several different, not civilization. I guess it is civilizations and different societies that have been built up over time. Wait, we got a max in here, bro. Yeah, Zelensky. Yeah, he's asking for $2 billion more dollars.
Did you see the announcement by Mitch McConnell saying the priority for Republicans is sending money to Ukraine?
Yeah, it's
Sure did.
Today.
Yeah, we do have a story. I think we have a story on that.
I am so pissed.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Anthony Blinkman. Anthony Blinken's wet dream is World War III, and he's literally running the media right now.
All right, well, Phil, what's going on over there? We know Zelensky's coming to meet with policymakers and kind of advocate. What I saw was supposed to be about $45 million originally. Now they're pushing for $2 billion to Ukraine. Is that the latest?
It's just a small jump.
Yeah,
Well,
just a touch.
Yeah, the thing that's going to push this over the edge is the Patriot missile systems. Those are what's been being yelled at by Putin. Putin basically said, we are going to go full ham on you with China if you send Patriot missiles to Ukraine, and here they come. And Zelensky's going to be in the White House today, I think 3 p.m. to say thank you for the Patriot missile systems on national television in front of God and country. So I'm a little pissed off right now.
What is Patriot missile system?
Patriot
Sounds
missile
scary.
systems are just a very robust mobile missile system that it's got capabilities well beyond what Russia wants to be on the front lines right now, and we're handing them over, so it's gonna get feisty.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting. Digital mining collective coming in hot. Shocker.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised you're a big fan of proof of work, but what do you really think about Mitch over there?
Yeah, tell us how you really feel, dude.
Yeah, no, it's great. We really appreciate everybody in the chat and all that sort of stuff too. I don't know. I'm not a big political person. Definitely don't trust politicians. Definitely not a fan of either side. Don't put a lot of faith in positive things coming out of House party, whatever you want to say. Yeah, this Ukraine stuff's just weird to me. Like, it's just strange. All the ties with FTX, with money go. There's a lot more money has flowed through Ukraine in the last 2 to 4 years than probably existed, the 20 years before that. So I don't know. It's very strange to me. It's very sad to see how much. I mean, this is our money we're talking about, guys. This is taxpayer dollars that are going over there, and we aren't really getting any say in it. They're pushing a lot of this stuff through. We're not voting on it. Obviously, you vote for somebody who votes for something, and you're supposed to have your interests represented.
They're not representing us anymore.
They're
That's
definitely
pretty clear.
Yeah, they're
No
definitely not
way.
representing our interests. They're representing the interests of those who line their pockets. Unfortunately.
I have an opinion on why that is.
Hit me.
I think that since, if you think about how politicians were handled by regular people before the information age, before we had the internet, you had all the information about that representative. Everyone understood everything about that representative's life, but the representative understood nothing about you, the peasant's life. Now the script is flipped where the government knows everything about you and you know nothing about the government. So they've completely gone away with representing the people. They don't represent us anymore. We've forgotten that they should be representative of us and our wishes, not the other way around.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't say slowly, but it's getting dramatically more authoritarian the more time goes on. Where it's like you said, control. We're in charge. This is for your. Don't question us. Don't. Ask for us to have transparency. We need to know everything there is to know about you so we can keep you safe. We can protect you. And that's the number one motivator they use is fear. They're going to make you think you're going to die, you're going to starve, a bomb's going to drop on your head. And if you don't do exactly what we say, in order for us to protect you, then all this bad stuff's going to happen. And again, most of it, in my opinion, is fear mongering and, manipulation.
What kills me about all this really is that, dude, we're $31.4 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
$31.4 trillion in debt. And I've been to a plethora of major American cities just this year. And I can't go 30 seconds without seeing the homeless people and just a bunch of really sad stuff happening in our own borders. And we've sent billions and billions and billions of more money to a battle that's really not ours. It's not like we have troops over there and we're just dumping money into this problem when we really need to be dumping money into our own people and solve problems in America. If you want to donate money to whatever cause it is, cool, but make sure there's not people starving here first. That would be great.
I agree. I think
I know it's been going on for decades. You're totally right, Bubba's, but it just infuriates me.
Yeah,
to be honest, I know it's been going on for a long time, and if nothing changes, nothing changes. But still, it's just come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, there's people here that are really struggling, and it doesn't really make sense to keep trying to help. Yeah, it's something that really doesn't have anything to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's the same thing that's been happening for a really, really long time, like y'all were saying. But the thing is as long as this country has existed, pretty much we've not really put the money into ourselves too much.
No.
The American military spending and the American foreign policy spending will never, at least, let me not be super pessimistic, in our lifetimes right now, will not be touched as far as the spending, the percentage of debt and all that goes. That's not going to change, unfortunately. There's just, and I hate sounding so negative about it, but we have never in our history taken that kind of money and put it on ourselves. It's only gone to the stuff that we don't want it to go.
It's really, this is why I come back to a lot of this has to do with trade war, and it is global positioning and politicking at scale. One of our number one exports is the dollar. So we use our dollar to control, to inflict our desires and our best interests on the rest of the world. If you're not staying in line, we're going to cut you off from the Swiss system. We're going to cut you off from the petrodollar. We're going to basically isolate your country outside of the economy so you can't grow at the same rate as everybody else. And so that's why we do a lot of these games that we do. That's why we're incentivized to create, disagreements or skirmishes or whatever you want to call them, wars really, and then to go in there and instill the dollar as the local currency, it creates more demand on the US dollar, which is everything that we want. Now we have a way we can do that with a digital dollar, USDC, and we don't actually have to go to war with those countries to get that fiat or to get that financial system in place. And I think that's what we're going to be experiencing, that third Red Sea, as this guy was mentioning. I will read through this real quick. I do want to come back because I do like it better when we're jumping around on discussions. But sea change number 2, the Fed's funding rate dropped to high single digits in the late 80s and then mid single digits in the 90s. This started a 4-decade declining interest rate environment, which led us to where we are today. So now, yesterday we talked a lot about how that was going on in Japan, how they had basically very, very cheap or free money, no interest that they could get from the Bank of Japan and go invest in really risky assets and then take the returns and reinvest that locally and to try to grow their economy. That was their strategy. Interestingly, we had a very similar 4-decade, not free, but very low.
Right.
And this is a good point, and this is something Ben and I have been talking about as we're flipping this environment. We know crypto and blockchain still on the 4-year cycle, but what's going to happen with the traditional markets? The S&P 500 index rose from a low of 102 in August 1982 to 4,796 at the beginning of 2022. So it's from 102 to 4,796 over essentially that 40-year period we were talking about, with very, very low and attractive interest rates. For a compound annual return of 10% a year, what a period. There can be no greater financial investment career luck than to have participated, basically just participate in the last 40 years. And now this is where it starts to get interesting. Marx believes declining interest rates might have played the greatest role of all investors' success over the last 40 years, which a lot of people, consider kind of scary thought. As we exit that environment, we're going into raising, obviously increasing interest rates. Then he goes into how negative interest rates impact the economy. The period between the global financial crisis in late 2009 and the onset of the pandemic in 2020 was marked by the ultra low interest rates and the macroeconomic environment, and the effects were dramatic. And then when we got into the pandemic, caused the world's economy to shut down. The Fed supercharged the economy by implementing a jumbo version of the GFC rescue plan in weeks instead of months, which is what we talk about a lot on this, where they essentially doubled the money supply in less than a year of all the dollars in circulation. So what happens is higher interest rate environment. It all comes down to higher demand returns, which means that the fair value of stocks decrease and interest rates increase. So again, you can read this whole thing if on the Hit Network Twitter, but part of what we were looking at this morning and trying to figure out, let me see if I've got this here. We got to refresh this on TradingView. Hopefully it loads where I had it.
I almost want to show that
This one?
advertisement that they always have in front of that. I don't know. That guy looks very serious. Look at
This
this.
guy.
Yeah.
Look first, then leap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a rock climber, right? You
He
definitely
is
don't want to be
Alex
jumping off
Honnold,
of.
free
He is?
climber.
You know who that guy is?
It says it on there.
Oh,
You barely
yeah.
see it in the little tiny.
He's a free climber.
All right, I need to get rid of this
Alright.
thing. I don't want to join for free.
Dad.
Go away.
He won't let us in.
All right, here
Come
we
on,
go.
Alex.
Alex.
I was wanting to look at the S&P. Somebody showed me this. Okay. I don't know why I can't X this out. Normally I can. Wah, wah.
Oh, no.
Want me to log in mine?
We've lost.
Well, there's just too many. Yeah, we can. There's too many people logged into this one now to where it causes issues.
there we
But
go.
yeah,
There
it's
we
gonna.
go.
It'll pop back up. Don't worry. It'll screw us later. See.
Yeah, I don't think free climbers leap either. Good point, Thorn.
Yeah.
Very, very good point. There.
All right.
What's
Well,
that supposed
it's
to do when
not
it gets to
pulling
the
up
top?
right
It's
now,
true.
but this kind of shows it. This is what's concerning. When we were looking at the 2008 compared to how much we've fallen today, there's still. If it is tracking very similar, so the black line is today, and then the blue line here is 2008 crisis. So the Nasdaq is or the S&P tracking very, very, very similarly, and this could be that fall to
That is terrifying.
Oh my
yes, and it's crazy when you look at it on the graph because it looks like a blip compared to where we are today.
Talk about leaping.
Mm-hmm. And so
That's the cliff.
that's basically what I wanted to talk about a little bit is 2023. If the stock market was to follow the traditional paths and go through something like this, will Bitcoin separate or will it follow right along with it? And if it follows right along with it, how low could it go? And, what does that look like? So, AJ, I'm going to start with you. I know you're a big proponent of bottoms not in. We've got much further to go. What is your take on this? If we do have a, further hit to the stock market, Bitcoin follows right along, in your opinion?
Yeah, it has to. 100%. 100%. Now the institutional investors that were on the sideline for so long are now officially in the game. If the stock market took that big of a hit, you can't sit here and say that the bottom's already in. I mean, on the daily chart, 4-hour chart, we have finally started to put in some higher lows recently. I noticed if you draw a line from the bottom of 18 to the bottom of 2020 to now, it's like a straight line, and we haven't broke that trend yet. We haven't gone under that. We will break that if we go below 15 again. I can show you on the chart if we get that loaded up, but if not, I'll post it another time. But It's really hard to tell, and this is, the uncertainty is like why we're all attracted to crypto so much. Obviously, if you stick to like the whole halving theory, halving's March 24, the top would be September, November 25. We're just about in 23, so 23, especially given like the uncertainty with regulation, and now they're saying U.S. wants to ban crypto and all that. I just think like, will we obviously during every bear market, some people think that we're never going to pump again and this is the end of the world and crypto's over. I don't think that's the case. I just think that there's a long way. We're a long way away from the halving still. And there's probably more pain involved between now and when, based off the cycles, when we're supposed to start marking back up. And, I'm not saying like 5K or even 9K Bitcoin or anything like that. I'm just saying that it just doesn't make any sense in my brain to think that the bottom's already in. I hope I'm wrong, I'm just kind of a realist about this kind of stuff. And we have started putting in higher lows on 4 hour in the daily chart, which is good. Hopefully that continues. But if the stock market takes a fall that big to think crypto is just going to shield it like Captain America or something, no way.
Shout out to Derek Alien Taco in the chat. He said, "Hey AJ, what's your plan?"
What's my plan? My plan is, I've been scaling in for a while. I was doing a lot of shorts earlier in the year. I'm not really focused on shorting anymore. I'm way more focused on like accumulating. The market conditions for day trading aren't that great. They haven't been that great for a while unless you timed the really big fall downs in the past like couple weeks. But those days, like there are good days for trading, but to throw a dart and hit that day in like a 2-week span where only 1 or 2 days is a good day for trading. I'll go Junior, love that. But no, my plan is that like, even if it gets worse from here, I still take a certain amount of my money that comes in every week and I put it into, either Algorand or, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. I have like kind of scaling in. I make sure I self-custody everything I have. It's all in a ledger. I'm not keeping anything on any exchanges. I'm okay to scale in even if it keeps going down because, in my mind, once we're at the top of the next run, we're going to be putting in new all-time highs for everything. So even if you lose a little bit on what you scale in with now, as long as you continue to scale in the whole way, you will the X and the Y will cross and you will win eventually. It's just a waiting game and it takes conviction, it takes determination. And
hold up your shirt for him. Let me see. That's what that Bitcoin is my plan B is what the shirt says. That's what he was saying. He was referring to. He's like, I was just messing.
And you can
Algo
get
is plan A.
And Algo is plan A. And you can get this shirt at hitmerch.com.
Yeah. Well, and let us know what you guys think in the chat too. I did see somebody said we think we'd go, chop sideways for 6 months to get some regulation. So that's what I was going to touch on with this story. Here's 4 legislative predictions for crypto in 2023. I'm not saying I agree with these, but I do want to talk through them. I do think we will see some regulation, and it will be key to the future of crypto and blockchain after this. So we may not see much from Congress, but there's a chance the SEC will continue making crypto policy litigation. This writer, who is the writer here? J.W. Verrett. This opinion piece, basically their take is few legislative changes to come in 2023. A few minor victories will log roll small legislative fixes into must-pass bills like the defense bill, spending bills. Top candidate would be a de minimis exemption for smaller crypto transactions, etc. Crypto advocates in Washington have made a lot of progress this year. No one could have predicted in 2018 or even 2020 that 2 United States senators, Kristen Gillibrand and Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis, would appear at multiple crypto conferences in 2022 touting a bill they wrote to provide regulatory clarity. Bills, and then, of course, as you guys know, we've got a proposed bill that we think should be public very, very soon, that we hope can provide a lot of regulatory clarity and bring a lot of understanding and regulation to the space in a positive way that allows it to grow and flourish. This one, interesting. The Securities and Exchange Commission may win some litigation. This they're referring to, while we're hopeful that Ripple will ultimately win its case against the SEC. The odds are against it in district court. The precedent for the test the SEC is using against Ripple, the Howey test for investment contracts, is flexible. Historically, the SEC never brought cases under the Howey test against investment opportunities it actually wanted to register, but instead used it as a, what is that word?
Cudgel.
Cudgel? That's what I thought.
Cudgel, yeah.
I've never even heard. You guys know that word?
Hold on. Definition for cudgel.
Let's see.
I've heard it in conversation.
A short, thick stick used as a weapon.
Short, thick stick
Oh,
used
I
as
got
a
one of
weapon.
those.
Dang. SEC coming out. They're using it as
Bro,
a
just say
cudgel
a
against
bat.
real frauds. And so, yeah, judges gave the SEC the benefit of the doubt. I still hold out that the SEC probably will not win this. I think a settle is most likely scenario where it's kind of nobody directly wins and there's kind of concessions made on either side. 2023 is the year that crypto users wake up for the need for privacy. Now, this is something I would be very excited about and would love to see. I'm also not optimistic that this is going to happen in 2020. Well, put it, okay, I will say, I'll walk that back. 2023 is the year that crypto users wake up to the need for privacy. Okay, crypto people, but maybe not the average user, the average person. But
That's what I was about to say. I feel like the crypto people have been
Yeah,
talking about
already
privacy for
know.
like 10 years now.
Yeah.
yes and no, but if you look at like the actual numbers of all crypto users, they talk about it a lot more than they actually do
That's
it.
what I'm saying. I keep hearing about it. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, guys,
Yeah.
come on now.
It's true.
Come on.
Crypto privacy in the United States is under sustained assault. We may have dodged a bullet of the Know Your Customer laws applied to the private wallets for now, but we will still face massive threats to privacy. For example, the Treasury Department this year sanctioned the only functional tool on Ethereum for complete privacy, Tornado Cash. And again, we've talked about that a lot on this channel. There's a lot of needs for privacy as a right. Somebody even commented on yesterday's video. Thank you for articulating that. It was a great description of why we need privacy. So I hope this is a trend and a prediction that comes true in 2023, that the users, and I think we are, we're definitely waking up to self-custody, right?
Yeah.
We're definitely understanding that. Need to holla at you prepped next time I get by the studio, or hit me up on Twitter. Yeah, come on by, Manawak. So yeah, CoinJoin, Samurai Wallet do a good job of masking transactions in history for sophisticated Bitcoin users. Again, this is not, they do, but not for your everyday, not for your grandma user. Leading crypto privacy coins like Zcash is one, that I've held in the past. Monero offer different approaches and trade-offs to privacy. A lot of people like Pirate Chain, a lot of those kind of things for privacy. So I hope we start to see a wake up to privacy. I mean, what do you think, Drew? I mean, obviously you're a privacy advocate. Do you think the general crypto user prioritizes privacy in day-to-day life?
Absolutely not.
No.
Nope.
Mm.
A lot of people are here for the money, not the virtue.
Mm.
I mean, I can speak for that directly. I mean, I'm in that exact position.
Yeah.
I don't really know too much about the crypto space, but every now and then I'll buy something and just see what happens. And frankly, I don't. At the time, I don't care about the privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just one of the normal people. I know I should,
No.
but I just don't understand it enough to care about it. And I think that's going to be like, what, 70% of the crypto buyers?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
it's
not wrong.
No, and it's an honest take, and it's very, a lot of people don't see the trade. It's a soft trade-off. It's a very passive assault on your privacy where they're just taking a little more information. They're taking a little more information. It's not really costing you anything. Just kind of like, it's very similar to data. And it is data. They're siphoning off data. They've been doing it for years and years and years. They know, like to Drew's point at the top of the show, the United States government knows way more about every one of their citizens today than they did in the 70s, and it's not even close. Yeah. And all of that is through technology and data and collection and really financial services, using the banking system to monitor all purchasing and Visa and MasterCard and all that sort of stuff. And then, you layer in social media and you can pick up all kinds of information on people. So I really hope we do see a move towards privacy, a move towards self-custody. If you guys haven't done anything like that, if you're not using a VPN right now, you should probably test that out and start getting used to one. There's several good ones out there. NordVPN is a good one. Opera browser has one built in, so you can check out both of those things if you need to. I'll start getting affiliate links and all that stuff.
I really like DZ's comment there. For every one mind your biz, there are 50 people who don't care. I would even went up and say that for every one mind your biz, there's 100 people who don't care.
Yeah.
I think the sentiment of that is spot on, DZ.
There is a little bit of optimism, I feel like, as far as people coming into the privacy regarding crypto space. And I think that is going to come from the really slow adoption of general data privacy, which is becoming a little bit more mainstream nowadays.
Yes.
Like you get, I think Apple now is they were starting to push some like, strong password thing that they're giving to everybody. And that's becoming more aware. Like you're saying, VPNs are now, everybody knows about a VPN pretty much now.
It's a lot
So,
more
like,
common today than it was even 2 years ago.
So there are measures and stuff that are building into the general population, and maybe some of that trickles down into the crypto space. I feel like that's about as good as you're going to get right now as far as regular, normal crypto buyers go.
Yeah,
And
This
then
is
everybody
a
else
friendly
just has to.
reminder that the Patriot Act is still
in effect.
in effect.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so the Patriot Act has been 20 plus years. All data privacy is null and void under the Patriot Act.
Thanks a lot, Bin
First
Laden.
step
Yeah.
would be to do away with that. So, but yes, I hope what you're saying is true. But we have to wipe away the emergency acts. They did away with our Constitution and the way that our country operates to begin with.
And they always tend to push those through under emergency power methods.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy stuff going on. A lot of that stuff went through at the end of 2019, very beginning of 2020 with the pandemic stuff as well. Again, I always reference it. They pushed in getting rid of fractional reserve banking from 10% down to 0% and slid that under the radar. And I feel like very few people noticed. And I was like screaming it from the rooftops, like, guys, this is insane.
Yeah.
They're saying banks don't have to keep any of our money. Like everything SBF and FTX did, they're saying all banks are allowed to do that.
Yep.
Loan out 100% of your users' funds
Yep.
for returns in risky situations. Just hope they don't all ask for it back at the same time. Like it's
And they kind of already are.
Yeah, so hold on. To make
They already are
that
doing
connection there, is leaving your money in a bank sort of like leaving it on a centralized exchange?
Exactly.
yes,
Yes.
it's 100%. Like it's actually worse. Centralized exchanges are far more regulated and under far more scrutiny. Like you're much safer on Coinbase, Kraken, or Binance than you are at most general banks according to the laws in the United States, because they're required to keep it 1-to-1. Bank of America is required to keep 0% reserves. Used to be 10%, now it's 0%. So
Clip that.
just go try to withdraw your cash and see what happens. They'll tell you,
that's
no,
mental.
you got to make an appointment. You can only get this much this fast. I was literally in the bank last Friday. Glad it wasn't happening to me. Finally happening to somebody else. But I was sitting there, I was making a transaction, and I heard a guy sitting over there that was waiting to talk to a manager, and I literally heard him say, "Hey, I have an account here. I need to move some stuff around for my own personal reasons. I need to withdraw $60,000 out of my account, and they're telling me I can't do it. What the heck? Why
Right.
can't I withdraw
Yeah.
my money?"
The
Right.
hoops you have to jump through nowadays just to get your own money.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
It's insane. It's insane.
Okay, so next thing, the fourth prediction here from this person, between the United States and the European Union. What is between the United States and the European Union? Basically saying the regulation and the relation between the United States and the European Union both may lose. The European Union's approach to new token launches appears to be more reasonable than the United States, with a light white paper based on disclosure approach, yet its aggressive approach to private wallet surveillance threatens users' privacy. Exchanges are forced to KYC personal wallets. I don't think we're going to see a world where either the US or Europe, backs off on the KYC laws.
Right.
They want to know who you are.
Yep.
And that one is, I have a little more lenience on KYC than I do on ALM. Generally they're lumped together. What it stands for is Know Your Customer Anti-Money Laundering Laws, basically saying we need to know anything and everything about you to make sure you're not doing anything you're not supposed to. And it's the exact opposite of innocent until proven guilty. You're assumed guilty until you prove your innocence, which again, very backwards. The financial system lives outside of the legislative branch and outside of the jurisdictional branch in a lot of different ways. That's one of my favorite facts. If you what is it? It's a judge has to issue a warrant to seize your money. A cop has to issue a warrant to actually take it away, but a bank can seize it and freeze it. They can do both with no legal repercussion whatsoever. They can just
Right.
do it however they want to do it. So
Right.
that, again, they use that as a tool of law enforcement that lives outside of the legal system. And it's, whatever you do, don't Venmo $600.
That was
That's a
crazy.
fact.
That was crazy. I remember them saying that you're going to get taxed on that kind of stuff now, like Venmo transactions.
It's
That's
yeah,
insane.
I cannot believe
got to get that money over to Ukraine.
That's
Got to
unreal.
collect on all those
Yeah.
$600 transactions. But
It's insane.
the U.S. has a chance to compete with Europe on crypto development if it can better rationalize rules for centralized crypto entities while leaving true DeFi alone. This is exactly what our bill is trying to accomplish. Better rationalize rules for centralized crypto entities while leaving DeFi alone. We need DeFi to grow and to flourish. It is the tech innovation that comes out of blockchain. This DeFi is what makes blockchain interesting.
Yep.
If you just turn it all back into what we already have, it's not that interesting. It's just a rehash and a recreation and a way for other people to make money on traditional systems, and that's not what we want. While leaving true DeFi alone, that are workable and ignore the voices of Elizabeth Warren, who would use KYC rules to effectively destroy crypto.
Facts.
So I hope we can pull that off. So my predictions for 2023 crypto regulation, I tend to agree. I think it was Crypto Thorn who said it earlier. I think we will mostly range and go sideways. I don't think Bitcoin will get absolutely crushed, even if the stock market takes, say the stock market takes another 40% hit. I don't think we'll see, what's 40%? We could potentially see a 40% hit for Bitcoin here, but I think it's got a really strong floor at 10K. I think it's really strong support. I mean, at 14, there's a lot, even if it went to 10K, I'm not worried about it. I still think it would grow in the midst of economic uncertainty while the rest of the stock market maybe stagnates. I think we are going to see some regulation come out in 2023 that's favorable for the blockchain industry in the United States. I don't think we'll see Elizabeth Warren, have their way. I think we'll see something that comes through and it gives regulatory clarity, and that's what sets the stage for 2024 and 2025 to be explosive, very explosive in my opinion. And again, 2023, I think there's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. There's going to be some chop. We might get a little run up for Bitcoin. Again, I think maybe up to 28, something like that. And it gets everybody excited again. Oh, we're back over 20. We're moving. Then it comes back down. And then, we really move when the halving comes in. The Zeus says in a statement to CNBC, Wells Fargo said the bank is revising its management risk and control frameworks while changing the company's culture and policies. There's more work we must do to rebuild trust, and we are committed to doing that work, the bank said. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, big scandal with Wells Fargo back in, I don't remember what the date was, but...
was it the mortgages?
It was mortgages, but they were creating all kinds of fake accounts.
Yeah,
They were putting so much pressure on their branch workers to constantly be opening new accounts. They were using fake names. They were pressuring customers. Oh, you need to close this and reopen that. And, there was all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. Let's see. Our job is to educate people why decentralization is important. Some of our biggest freedom fighters don't know how much freedom blockchain gives us. Yeah, I agree.
And see, that's the thing. Like, you want to kind of go out there and try to talk. Like, you have random conversations with people. Like, I wear a lot of crypto shirts and stuff because I want people to ask what's up with this Bitcoin thing? What's up with this Ethereum thing? What's going on? But when you try to talk to people about the pros and cons of not being in a bank and the pros of being in crypto, I was literally trying to talk to my own mother, my own mom, and yet her name is actually Karen, and that whole joke came from her. Anyway,
she started it. She was the original Karen.
She is Karen. I swear, hand to God. Anyway,
got the haircut and everything.
Oh, it's so bad. Anyway, and she does want to speak to the manager.
Shout out to Karen.
Shout out to Karen.
I'm available,
Probably
Karen.
a
You can
lovely
speak to
woman.
me anytime.
So anyway, I was just trying to tell my mom, you really should, at least make a Coinbase or start trickling into crypto somehow. And she
Mm.
tells me, why would I get into crypto? Did you see what happened to FTX? And it's just
That's one of the
because
things
people
that hurts.
see all the news and everything going insolvent, and they think that this is all because of crypto. I can't stress it enough. FTX and all that stuff, that is not crypto.
Yeah.
There's a couple people
I almost
that
pulled the
mismanaged
story
the
that said
business.
that.
There's a couple people that mismanaged the business.
No, it's people that
terribly.
stole customer funds and committed direct crime of fraud. They said, we're going to do this with your money. They took your money and they put it over here, and they told you they were going to put it right here, and they never did it, and then they lost it all over here. That's a crime.
Yes, but people see that and
I
think
saw
that it's that adds to the negative stereotype of crypto. And I'm just ugh.
Yeah,
And this is all just gives the politicians more ammunition. They're speaking louder and louder, BlockFi, Voyager, FTX. That all happened because of crypto, not because they were mismanaged businesses. And the regulation thing freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie.
I got a little bit of a prediction thing going, and
right.
I like to represent the normal person thing, as we can kind of see from my limited comments today. But I think from what I can understand, being in here, it feels like generally crypto and Bitcoin is going to go down a little bit in 2023 if the stocks and the economy goes down the way that we're predicting it will. It feels natural that would also go down as people want to get more money and maybe sell some of their crypto or whatever. I feel like less people are going to be buying into it. And that makes me also think that maybe some regulation is not as likely to happen, because if the crypto markets are going down, the government is not going to care too much about it. I feel like when people start making a lot of money, when people start really when it starts going up real fast, whatever that causes, wouldn't that be when the government's like, hey, wait a minute, people are starting to make a lot of money. People are starting to,
Yes, but I think what we're going to see in 2023 is the reaction of what happened in 2021, and that just goes to show that the government's not quick. They did ignore it for the first several cycles, 2009 all the way through 2020, basically, and then in 2020, and it came back again after the 2017 cycle. Like, oh, okay, this thing's for real. It started to get real legitimacy. This thing's here to stay. Again, we saw in 2022 really is when a lot of the big traditional, when you're talking the BlackRocks, the Sequoias, the big traditional Silicon Valley money started coming into crypto, and then boom, we had all this fallout almost immediately after, which is pretty crazy to see. Like when big money gets burned, they're going to put something in place to make sure that doesn't happen again. And regardless of whose fault it was, who's responsible, I think it's gotten enough attention now. There's enough money behind it, which again, money, if you guys haven't figured it out, money is what drives the world. Like there's enough money flowing in and out of this stuff now. There's enough donations to be made. People are seeing it is a true industry, and if you can wrangle it right now, there's a lot of opportunities, and that's what I think we're going to start to see in 2023. And then again, they want to make money. They want to have these regulations in place so big money can make money in 24 and 25. Because don't get it twisted, they do not want to see little guys jump in the gap from small to having a seat at the table with the big guys. Now, it's happening on all sorts of different levels. That's kind of what that guy was talking about. When you have a sea change in the way the money works, there's opportunities that have never been presented for all of the people in this room, all the people in this chat. We have an insane opportunity to change our life and our family tree and the wealth and the freedom for the rest of time due to blockchain and digital assets. We're fortunate to be alive right now and have the information at our fingertips to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. And so if any of you guys at home do get a chance to do this, like again, educate yourself, get in as much as you can, put all of your free time into it. I saw a really interesting comment the other day. It was just a random tweet, and somebody said, like, if all you do is work your 9 to 5 and then go home and drink and party at the nights and weekends, then you probably deserve to stay broke, and you'll probably never get out of that cycle. But if you want to get out of that cycle, if you want something different for your life and your family, then you need to put in the extra time, work on your free time, learn, educate yourself. All I did for years with another job in all of my free time was read about crypto, and I still do it in all of my free time. All I ever do is look at Twitter and read about crypto. And I mean, if you guys are watching the Slack and Blockchain Basement, I'm dropping stories in there any point of the day. So you guys have the opportunity to take advantage of this now. 2023, I think, is going to be the year that sets the framework for big money. Big money is going to make big money in 24 and 25. Hopefully, we're all involved with them. But I do think we're going to get diminishing returns after that, because eventually the market will hit its attrition, I think, or its level where it's harder to move it, kind of like where gold's at right now. Like once Bitcoin hits $10 trillion, now I don't know if that's going to be in 2030 or 2050, but most likely somewhere in between that. It's going to get harder to move that money and or move that market cap. So you're going to want to get in now. So.
I think like the window of opportunity to make like life-changing crazy money in crypto is still open, but it's closing.
It is.
So
but wouldn't it reopen again?
Yeah, with Bitcoin.
No, for sure. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? I feel like a lot of people think it's just going to reopen again. They think it just goes like this. So like, okay, well, I missed it right here. I'll just get it on the next one.
Yes, and it will be cyclical. It will, it's like the internet, where the biggest opportunity obviously is at the very beginning, and there's going to be some major winners that if you bought Google or Facebook or Amazon or some of these in certain points in time, kind of like that other thread was mentioning, you're going to do very, very well. Now, does that mean there hasn't been anything interesting that's happened on the internet since the early 2000s? No, there's been a lot of successes and failures, and I think it's going to be the same for the blockchain industry as well. You're going to have your big winners that come out of these next few years that are here to stay, and they're powerhouses forever. And again, you will be set for life if you make the right investments right now. And then for years and years to come, I think, our kids will be playing with this technology, will be innovating on it. And like when the internet came out in 2000, they weren't thinking social media. They weren't thinking Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Zoom and all the stuff that's available now, because it didn't have the capability for images and video and all that stuff to happen. It's going to be the same in the blockchain industry. We're going to have some core service providers that are the backbone of Web3, and then you're going to have tons of Dapps and innovation that come on top of it. And to Adam's point, that will be here for the rest of time. So again, never ending opportunity. I stress it over and over and over. Do not think you're running out of time. Do not FOMO in. What did they say? You need to move slower when trying to make money and faster when trying to preserve money is a pretty common thing that I've learned to be true. Like, yes, there's a lot of opportunity. I'm not saying move slow. Trust me. We move quick. We make fast decisions. I don't ever like anything about moving slow. However, when you're investing and you're trying to grow wealth, you need to grow your wealth slow and methodical, and you need to preserve your wealth aggressive and quickly. And that's something I've learned in the last few years, and would try to share that with you guys. So.
Bobby Dials said, what about all the people that say they will never sell their Bitcoin?
What about them?
Well, and then Riddled with Fun said, I don't think you can make life-changing money with Bitcoin. Diminishing returns, you can do it with alts, but not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now for preserving wealth, not generating it.
I tend to somewhat agree. Yes, and it depends on how much money you're starting with, obviously, but I still think Bitcoin can give you better returns than almost any other asset that exists right now. Like if you're looking at the stock market, if you're looking at other places as far as safety goes. Now, again, you can take a percentage and put it into other coins. I would recommend getting into Bitcoin, making some profit, taking your profit and rolling it into other coins. I understand what you're saying. There are diminishing returns. If you're starting with $2,000, you're not going to change your life. But if you're rolling, say you've got a 401k, say you're 50 years old and you're like, hey, I need to retire in 10 years and I've got 200k and I know that's not enough to retire on in 10 years and I want to roll some of that into Bitcoin, you might find yourself in a better place.
Yeah, and that's exactly
not financial advice.
No, totally. And see, I definitely look at this because, for people that don't have necessarily like a big giant bag to put into crypto, this is like one of the reasons I'm so big on Algorand. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about it for too long, but just when you look at how, where Bitcoin is now and how far away it is from its all-time high. So from here to there is about a 5x away. But when you look at coins like Algorand and even Engine and hell, even Cardano, these coins are at least a 10x away from their current price points to previous all-time high. So I'm just kind of looking at the coin. I'm just looking at the coins that if you were to buy them now that are a minimum 10x to previous all-time highs. That's kind of what I like to look at.
Yeah, no, that's good. And somebody else said, well, where did it go?
Damn straight, Crypto Thorn. Don't you forget it.
How important does everyone think it is to own a whole Bitcoin, said Urkelson.
I'll never own a whole Bitcoin. I don't want to.
Interesting.
I'd rather have my money in alts that are going to pump more.
You might change your tune in a few years.
All right, we'll circle back.
Yeah.
We'll circle back.
Because you might have money in coins that pump, and then they pump, and then what happens?
Well, I take profits every time.
And so you'd take it into dollars instead of Bitcoin, is what you're saying.
Well, it depends on where we are in the market. It's all theoretical based off where we are, for sure.
Yeah, because it's very easy. A lot of people rode their alts all the way up, rode them all the way down. They've done the same with Bitcoin though. Rode Bitcoin all the way up, rode it all the way down. So, I said Allison has a beautiful smile. Thanks, Crypto Steve. She does have a beautiful smile.
Oh, I have a question.
So do I.
Smile
From Riddled with Puns. Anyone know what's going on with Hint? Is that HNT? Is that Hint?
Yeah, it's Helium.
Helium Network. Yeah, I was gonna look at that. Why? I mean,
Why
they had like a
is
30%. Yeah.
Why is it pumping on large volume the last few hours?
That's a good question. I wonder if is Helium. Helium is a DCG coin, right? Barry Silbert coin.
I don't think so, but I'll have to look back at it. I know that DAG is trying to kind of absorb them for their hardware. But
I mean, helium goes up. It's in its nature, right?
I am still salty at them. I never got my miner.
Yeah.
Synchro bit.
Bubba's Crypto says, I want to like Helium. I have a miner. It just seems super scammy. I agree. I don't like to poo-poo Helium. I know a lot of people that are pushing it, but it gives me scammy vibes too. I have nothing to say that other than, it's just the premise is kind of strange. You're not really going to get much return on those miners ever by the time you get them,
right.
Generally speaking, when you can consider the cost of power. So I think it's kind of preying on people that don't understand mining that well in a lot of ways, but it sounds cool. You get your miner and I don't know. I've seen a lot of simple mining things that have come out between 2017 and now. and almost all of them turn out to be sketchy, go belly up. I mean, hey, we got a story today. Core Scientific miner files for bankruptcy, expects support from some of the debt holders. Now, this has nothing to do with helium. That was a strange segue. But my point is, this is a very significant, very substantial mining company that just went bankrupt. This is partially due to the Celsius fallout. Celsius owed them a ton of money that they also obviously defaulted on. Core Scientific, let's see, one of the largest Bitcoin minings by computing power or hash rate, filed for bankruptcy protection on Wednesday and reached a deal with some of its lenders to restructure its debt. Company filed for Chapter 11 in Texas. When the crypto winter continues to take its toll on the industry, the miners' estimated liabilities are between $1 billion and $10 billion, which, again, just so you guys understand, when they're checking those boxes for the bankruptcy proceeding, it's like, million to, their ranges in that. If you're over $1 billion, you're going to check unless you're over 10 billion, which most people aren't, but you're going to check that box that says between $1 billion and 10 billion. It's not like they probably know it's like 2.2 billion, but when they file the bankruptcy document, they have to check that. Right. So, everybody, I used to think that's a huge range. How could they not know if it's 1 billion or 10 billion? And then I realized, it's just part of the application. So, according to the filing, it has around 1,000 to 5,000 creditors, with the largest unsecured claim coming from investment bank B. Riley. That's interesting. The miners' estimated assets are between $1 billion. So they have assets, between $1 billion and 10 billion as well. So it should start to, again, those would mostly cancel each other out. Prepackaged bankruptcy. Core Scientific reached an agreement with some of its creditors in what appears to be a prepackaged bankruptcy. The debtor reached some sort of agreement with its debtors before officially filing. So that's pretty interesting. This one should go through faster then. But my point here is, we've seen some of the most prominent, some of the most well-run Bitcoin mining operations come under financial pressure through either loans that they're not getting back from the fallout from Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, FTX, etc., or B, just the pure cost of mining has been going up and the hash rate's been going up dramatically, and the price has been falling. So you're just under that. We've been talking about a lot, miner capitulation. Here it is again, another one going under. And when I see things like this struggling, really, and they're mining Bitcoin, which again, substantial, makes a lot of money. I have a hard time making that connection for helium miners. However, having circulating hardware is valuable, and once you have all that hardware out in different places, I'm not surprised to see somebody trying to acquire it for their hardware devices, because again, like I was talking about with Ledger, somebody will rise up as a hardware provider in this Web3 space. I see Ledger as one of them, especially if they continue things like partnering with developers like Apple on that side.
And that new Stacks is looking pretty fresh.
It's looking sick.
Looking fresh. Yeah. I'm gonna get one for sure.
That's what I'm saying, and it's definitely a step up and in the right direction when it comes to blockchain hardware.
Yep. Looks like a little phone.
Gerald,
little phone.
Oh, sorry, Riddle with Punch. You lost some Bitcoin on Quadriga X, CX. I'm sorry for that. Is he back from the dead? Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. A lot of when I see what was the other one? There was another one that was helium.
It's Gerald.
Yeah, I can't remember, but all right, real quick, we're gonna touch on this one: DeFi, NFT, blockchain games. Key takeaways from Dapp Radar's 2022 review, guys. If you don't look at Dapp Radar, it's a great website that gives you a lot of different analytics and stats on decentralized applications on different chains. Obviously, like it's referring to here, NFT, blockchain games, etc. So let's see. 2022 will go down as a challenging year for the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, but the adversity faced has been strewn with plenty of positives for the decentralized application ecosystem. And some of this is perhaps the most telling and unique is unique active wallet data from 2021 and 2022, demonstrating a 50% increase in the average daily year on year, which is pretty crazy considering how much we've seen volume fall and prices fall in 2022. You'd think people would be running from the hills, which is what we've kind of seen when it comes to viewership numbers and volume numbers. Like I said, this is up from 1.58 million daily users in 2022 to an average of 2.37 million daily active users in 2022. So we are getting more daily active users on decentralized applications, which is pretty interesting to me. It must be noted there was a downtrend of Dapp users from February 2022, which Dapp Radar associated with the escalating war, FTX, Black Swans, including Terra, So that's interesting. Okay, so it's saying it peaked, which makes sense. It peaked in January and February of this year. And it's been trending downward for the more of this year, which would have been my expectation.
Yeah.
DeFi industry was particularly affected in the wake of Terra Luna, no surprise there, resulting in market decline with a significant drop in total value locked of around 73% to 55 billion as of December 2022. Dang, that's a big drop.
Yeah.
Layer 1 DeFi protocol saw the biggest drop in TVL, Ethereum experiencing a 74.5 reduction to 32.12 billion TVL. TVL stands for total value locked, guys, by the way, which is coins locked up on the chain to be working within the DeFi ecosystem, whichever one that is. While second biggest DeFi ecosystem, BNB chain, recorded 62% drop in TVL. Layer 2 protocols fared slightly better. Arbitrum, 12%. Optimism increased by 127%. Interesting.
Johnny is super excited about Arbitrum all the
Arbitrum.
time.
Yep. Oh yeah. Very.
All the time.
Yep.
I had a story. I was gonna.
He's big on OP too, so he just likes all the optimistic rollups.
Yeah, he likes which is layer 2 solutions for scaling on Ethereum. I think those, if you guys are looking for something that there are potential outliers, like if you're talking about making money in crypto, up market or down market, there's always something moving in a positive, not always, generally something moving in a positive direction. And a lot of it is staying ahead of the curve on hype, staying ahead of the curve on tech and understanding. Optimism and Arbitrum are two of the probably most, I would say most prominent, layer 2 solutions on Ethereum right now. They're getting a lot of use. They have been for quite some time. They both, like AJ said, they both use optimistic rollups, which drastically reduces the transaction fees on Ethereum, and it's part of what is the future of Ethereum 2.0 and all this implementation.
Crypto Stevo said, I don't understand why Arbitrum doesn't have a token. Aren't they coming out with one soon?
They are. It should be airdrop. Like if you are using Arbitrum and interacting with it right now, it's going to it'll drop very similar to the way Uniswap did, where after you've, basically been interacting with it, they will airdrop tokens to all of those wallets. So interact with it with a bunch of different. Now you do have minimum things you need to do to qualify for it.
Gotcha.
Pretty involved.
It is.
There was a story me and Johnny looked at this morning that was pointing at Arbitrum / OP or just all the layer 2s having the ability to flip Ethereum in transactions, being used more than Ethereum at a point.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
of course they would, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going to be pushing your lower security transactions anyway, and it's supposed to be your high transaction throughput, and then you only settle back, the most important, a lot of value transactions on the main chain of Ethereum. So that to me makes sense that it would pass in transaction, probably not in value, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'm just super about privacy, but I see the value of ZK rollups and optimistic rollups that will help kind of bridge this gap between me all the way over here on privacy land and then OFAC down on the other side with Ethereum and their compliance that can meet together with these layer 2s at a point. I hope. So.
Yeah. And then somebody else said so is Matic. They're all layer 2s. Yeah, that is correct. Matic is another layer 2. Matic doesn't use optimistic rollups, correct?
No.
ZK.
ZK. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is that's zero knowledge,
Zero
that true
knowledge,
reference. So
Yep.
Blockchain games played a significant role in the Dapps space, accounting for 49% of its activity in 2022 with an average of 1.15 daily. What was that? What daily active users? What does UWA stand for again? It said it up here.
Unique active wallet.
Unique active wallets. Okay, so daily active users or unique active wallets. In total, the sector produced about 7.4 billion transactions. So there you go. So you can see gaming is going to be pushing through a ton of the transactions. And again, depending on the way the smart contract is written, depending on the way the game is designed, each action can be a transaction. Every time somebody plays a card or every time a card interacts with another card, you can create them different ways to make them more efficient, which is something they've been learning a lot about on Ethereum recently and on other chains as well. But blockchain powered trading card game Splinterlands was one of the most popular platform according to Dapp Radar, growing by 85% to reach 217,000 monthly unique active wallets in 2022. So Splinterland's been around quite a long time. One of the first popular, not first, but one of the earliest popular blockchain games that, started to actually get some traction. Terra's implosion accounts for 40 billion of funds lost, while DappRadar estimated the median loss per hack was around 283,000. Losses per month were pinned at 728 million. DappRadar integrated 49 blockchains, tracked 13,000 Dapps, 13,500 NFT collections, and noted that an increased number of Dapps reflects the resilience of the potential of this sector, with projects continuing to build and innovate despite a challenging macro environment. So, my main question for 2023 when it comes to Dapps, decentralized applications, chat, I want to hear from you guys. I obviously want to hear from everybody in the room. Do you think we will have our mainstream, they call it the Netscape moment application, a decentralized app that really goes viral and competes with kind of a mainstream app, that would be a top download in an Apple store or anything like that? Do you think we could see that? And I'll give you 20 prediction for 2023 or 2024, starting with Drew.
I do think so. Yes. Decentralized finance, I think it's looking really ugly. We have a lot of legislators saying, don't touch this stuff. We're going to regulate it into the ground. They don't have the ability to stop decentralized finance. And I think that decentralized finance will use this massive fallout that we see from centralized exchanges like FTX as a really good selling point to people just starting to get into it in 2023. And I don't even think we know the name of this decentralized exchange or app access that will take over the market. I think it's still to be seen.
I agree. So you think it's going to come out of the DeFi sector, basically?
I do.
Yeah. AJ, what do you think? Decentralized application, 2023 or 2024 going mainstream, yes or no?
It depends on how hard ICP kicks up. I think ICP could definitely be behind that.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm a fan.
So yes,
Big fan. I don't know about a timeline, but I know that if it's going to happen, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it's ICP.
Okay. Adam, what do you think?
So I'm thinking the first question I have is, yeah, here come the questions. The first thing is, what do you mean by mainstream? Do you mean like mainstream among crypto?
No,
people?
I mean mainstream among everyday, like a top, say it doesn't have to be top 10, but like say top 25 download in the Apple Store where it's like, it's viral. Everybody's talking about it. It's on Instagram, social, Twitter, everything.
I don't think so.
You don't think
I'm
so?
sorry.
No, it's fine.
I hate sounding like a pessimist in all this, but I don't think I just don't think the public's ready for something that big yet. And that is not even that big, really.
You're right.
It's just an app. But I still don't think they're ready for that.
So you're saying they're not ready for the techno tea party.
Techno tea party.
And I think everybody right now is scared. Everybody's really, they're holding on to their money really tight. I just think that the things that are going to happen in the crypto space are going to happen a lot slower for the general public.
I agree.
I like what Urkelson
I feel like you've been
said.
watching this channel. I say that all the time. It's going to take a lot longer than everybody wants it to. Everybody thinks it is.
I agree with that. I also like what Urkelson said. I don't think we have any mass adoption until we get regulatory clarity. Bang.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to think that's going to come in 2023. What do you think, Ali? Will we get a mainstream decentralized application by 2023, 2024? What do you think?
I'm going to go with the answers from the chat seems to be saying 2025.
2025.
With the bull run.
Right. With
Yeah.
That
peak
makes
bull
sense.
run
Yeah.
euphoria.
That's what I could see is
That
when
makes
it
sense.
starts coming back up and people start to get interested again. I mean, I feel like in 2019, 2020 was probably when it was really moving for the general public. I feel like, is that right?
When? What'd you say?
When like normal people were really
2020, 2021?
Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
talked about it the
19,
most at the
2021.
top of the
Yeah.
market.
It
Yeah, that's what I'm
started
saying.
in
So I think
2020 and
when
then all of
that-
2021.
When that starts to be able to be predicted and seen a little bit more, that's when it'll hit mainstream news articles and things like that. And all these developers are going to be like, hey, wait a minute. Got to get something for all these normal people who are going to come into this thing.
Yeah.
And I say normal people. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like
Yeah,
people
everyday
who
users,
don't
people.
Normal
know.
people.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we know we're crazy. We're the
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
people. We get it. I'm going to say... I'm going to say no for 23 or 24. I could see a scenario for 2025, but maybe not even that. My prediction will be, I think we will have it. The mainstream app will be a some kind of gaming application that ties in blockchain where people don't even, like a Pokemon Go type moment on a blockchain game where people don't even necessarily realize they're interacting with a blockchain.
Right.
And they're just playing the game because it's a fun game. I
Yep.
think somebody will come up with that. hopefully by 2025, and we'll find a way to scale it and push it through in a way that matters and that is fun. I do see gaming on the blockchain being the catalyst that can take us to that mainstream, have that mainstream app. And I do see it something like a Pokemon Go, where it's a AR kind of environment where you're interacting, and they've had things like this. I mean, I know geocaching is pretty big and like the concept is pretty simple, but having a way that you can interact with get the digital world tied to the real world in an interacting way that's fun and engaging, I do think will come out in the next 3 years or so. Not in 23. I don't think it will happen by 2024. Here's to 2025.
Yeah,
So
Joe
I got a
Stonkman
question
said.
for y'all too. Whenever you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Joe Stonkman made a good point. Just like AWS, nobody knows about AWS, but it runs the world.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I think. A lot of the what we're talking about right now, the Ethereums, the Algorands, the Cardanos, a lot of these layer 1 chains, a lot of these layer 2 chains. Eventually, nobody will know about those. They won't hear about them. They'll be like, oh yeah, like AWS, like it's back there, it's running, it's making all this stuff operate. But have you heard of blah 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 new game? Like we got to get in on that. And like eventually, that's where it will shift to. I do think it will take a long time. That's the number one thing I've learned through my experience in crypto. Is all of this stuff is amazing. It sounds great. It can change the world, but changing the world doesn't happen as fast as you think it's going to happen. There's a lot of people that are trying to slow you down. There's a lot of people that are trying to push back. Maybe it's the U.S. government. Maybe it's people within the U.S. government that are trying to, position things for their own gains. I think we'll get a lot of that sorted out in 2023. And then, again, we'll be back to fun times in 2024. But in the meantime, that gives all of us time to accumulate, right?
Exactly.
Like as AJ was saying, he's collecting all sorts of different things in this bear market. I know, Drew, you've been collecting a lot of different stuff. So
Time takes time. Time takes time.
Yeah, it does. Adam, what was your question?
yeah, well,
So it was more of just like a statement that I wanted you guys to maybe correct me on or something. I feel like we could see a tie-in not so much with the gaming thing as far as most people, but with maybe some kind of tie into a social media type platform, because you're really going to get. I play a lot of video games, so I've been in that space for a really long time, and I've seen these sort of innovations that come out of the video game space, and there's not been like something that really burst the bubble. Even VR has not really hit the bubble as hard as people think.
I mean, even Pokemon Go came and went pretty fast.
Yeah. But and right now I think we're at a really good position as far as social media goes for something new to come along and tie in with that, because you're seeing things like Facebook is going down pretty fast. It's been going on for a little while. Instagram's starting to go down. Twitter's on the ropes a little bit. So there's a space for a new social media that I really think could have a tie in to what y'all are talking about.
I think
that could be the next.
No, that's a great take. I was talking, DSO is one of those, and there's, we've talked about SoMe. There's been a lot of attempts and iterations. Somebody will get it right, and and it will crush. I think that's a great take. I think that could happen by 2024 or 2025. Another kind of thought on that note is that's kind of different would be content, right? You think of Disney and some of the stuff they're getting involved with Matic pretty heavily, and with they do tons of different stuff. Imagine if having a certain NFT allowed you to be involved in the story and the story making process, alternate endings, choose your own adventure, that sort of stuff in AR, VR type environments. I could see a lot of different things with content, whether you're Disney or Netflix or Amazon or Apple. Like, think about the way Apple could integrate across all of their devices and Apple TV programming. You'd have a lot of different options. My top bags, I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They're nothing interesting. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Cosmos. I have some Algo. That's pretty much it, I think.
I will let you know what my bags are at my Twitter space today at 4 p.m. I'm the shameless shill. I am the shameless shill. That's my new name.
Drew is stacking DAG, ICP, BTC, ADA. Again, I'm mostly in Bitcoin and Ethereum right now because I think Bitcoin and Ethereum is going to hold up better than a lot of the alts next year. So,
what about you, Adam? What are you interested in?
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know on my Spotify page.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, check it out. Not Adam.
Look at it.
That's where I talk about it all.
Let's see. The Zeus says DCing personally weekly into XRP, XDC, Casper, HBAR, Filecoin. Okay, interesting. A lot of 2022 coins there. Randomly do random one like Gala or more lighthearted play.
Look at DZ talking that smack. We've been going at it on Twitter. We've been kind of button heads lately. I think it's a good thing though. It's a good thing. People like to see arguments.
DZ likes button heads.
I know. I do too.
His favorite hobby.
All right. Any other questions for the chat? Anything else we want to discuss before we hop off here real quick? I did have a couple more stories, but we're not gonna have time to get into them.
Is it really 2:30?
It is.
Oh
I know.
my god!
I know. Time
This
flies in the
flew
basement.
by.
But I want to say thank you, chat, for noticing the connection to the 70s that
Yeah.
Adam has.
Yes, Adam
Yeah.
is very tied
Brother.
to the
Yeah,
70s. Yeah.
just stay away from
AJ bullied
any
me on
school.
Twitter.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. He came at me, but we straightened it out. We're good friends now. Good friends.
Real quick, I was going to talk about this. Somebody mentioned it at the top of the show. Peer-to-peer crypto marketplace Paxful removes ETH from the platform. I assume this is mostly due to the OPAC or the DC CPA stuff that's going on with them. Basically saying, it's a Bitcoin only exchange. Hoskinson slams Coinbase for not mentioning Cardano in the 2023 Outlook report. Time and time again, we see Cardano getting left out from these major reports from big industry players, even though it is a top 10 coin. Sad to see that there. Grayscale could liquidate 600,000 BTC. I don't think that's going to happen after failed GBTC ETF. I think they will potentially liquidate some of it. I know they're trying to get cash out for DCG, but they've got a fiduciary commitment to a lot of their other holders. I doubt they're going to be crushing that. So, and then also we did touch on this at the beginning. U.S. set to demand know your customers from crypto companies. Again, no surprise there. They're not going to back off on that one. But as always, guys, we love you guys hanging out in the basement with us. Yes, can he disco? Adam?
Oh yeah, I can do anything.
Absolutely.
Greetings,
anything.
heads of state.
100%.
Yeah.
Most
name it,
interesting thing I
100%.
saw on DAG, the DOR miner or DOR miner was interesting. AJ gonna give up more algo and marbles. Later dwellers. All right, see you guys. Crypto Thorn, Bobby Dials,
Peace out.
DZMTG, the Zeus, Urkelson, Music Maven, Crypto Thorn, Real Crypto Stevo, Corey, I know you're in here, Urkelson, Nakadu, Casino Doggy, Puin 78th. We love all you guys.
I'll
Have a
see you
great day.
at 4 p.m. Peace.
Like, subscribe, share, follow, sub, do all the things. Tell your friends. Buy Bitcoin
And raid.
and raid. Have fun with Joel.
Later.
See you guys.